Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Whiteside, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you are joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it. And one of the things we always like to bring to you is local news, pressing news. One of those things is something that took place on yesterday as we welcome into the program Chief Corey Henry. Chief, thanks for joining us
Thanks
today.
for having me.
We appreciate it. You know, one of those things is having a fire in our area is nothing we ever want. You guys are always so very prepared for it, but especially when we have a big fire, it's something that is alarming, if you will. But at 5:22 on Wednesday, October 5th, City of Houma Fire Department was dispatched to a reported structure fire at 8300 block of East Main Street in Houma. It's near the twin span and how that took place, but this was a big fire. Chief, you guys got out there at 5:23. Just amazing that y'all did that, but there was a lot of people out there. Tell us a little bit about the call and how it happened.
Well, like you said, we had the call around 5:20 that afternoon of a structure fire. So we actually had one of our staff members on the twin span at the time, and he saw the fire as he's coming in. So he saw the volume of fire and smoke, so he initiated a second alarm right off the bat before anyone was even there. Once he arrived on scene, he found a large residential structure that was on fire with a lot of fire, about 30% involved, and a lot of obstacles in the yard. So he initiated a third alarm, knowing that it was going to take a lot of equipment and manpower to handle that.
Okay, so that's kind of how that process works, right? So the first alarm is a call, second alarm, you know you need more, third alarm, you need even more people to respond.
Yeah, so all these alarm assignments we have is all predetermined already within each department within the parish.
Okay. And so those are just preset, part of y'all training.
It is.
Part of knowing what you need to do and who needs help and when.
That's correct.
Okay, very good. Tell us a little bit about this fire as we kind of see in the background. A large fire, so 30% of a dwelling is large.
It's significant with this structure in particular. Right next to, on the left side of that was a large commercial structure also that was being threatened by this fire. So once the initial engine companies got on scene, they had to make a determination of what the action was going to be first, and they decided to go with exposure protection.
Okay.
So one engine company deployed hand lines to protect the exposure, and the second engine company came in, and there's a large nozzle that's found on the top of the truck that delivers a large volume of water. So they decided to hit the fire to knock it down with that.
To prevent it from spreading.
Yeah, hopefully prevent it from spreading.
Okay, right, exactly. And so, look, it's just some of those things that you use this language that people are just not very aware of, but it's a very precise process. And so, tell us how that went. As you can see, some of these handheld lines that they're using to kind of break the fire there.
So once they started to control it, at least protect the exposure, they dumped the tank of water that we carry first, and then once we hooked up the hydrants, the roof actually fell at some point, blocking the entrance into the structure. So they had to make a determination at that time. Being there was no reported people trapped or inside of the building, everybody was out, they decided to initiate the fire attack from the outside.
From the outside.
So we dropped more hand lines down and started the attack from there.
Yeah, and one of those shots you can see one of the gentlemen walking up there. That's a firefighter from Little Caillou.
Yes. So on our third alarms, we start bringing people in, even from the Bayou communities, to help us. We had over 40 firefighters there.
Wow.
Assisting us.
That's amazing to have that kind of volume of people, but that's what it takes very often when we have a fire that size. And so can we talk about efficiency? Can we talk a little bit about productivity, about how things went with the fire?
Yeah, things went well. It took a little while to get it. There was a lot of obstacles in the yard.
Yeah, you had mentioned that, and that really creates some difficulty, right?
It does, because eventually we need to make entry into that structure. So once we knocked it down, we was able to determine that the structure was safe enough to enter. So we started sending crews inside. A firefighter can only work about 20 minutes, and then he has to come out. Either he's out of air or he's just exhausted.
Sure.
So
Or
we just
both.
have to rotate people in and out.
And so the volume of firefighters, and again, one of the things that I talk about on this show all the time on Bayou Time is how wonderful we work together with neighboring personnel. Doesn't matter what area what we do, whether it's levy districts or parishes or City of Houma or parish. This is one of those examples.
Yes.
40 different people coming together. And this was done primarily through everything. Everybody kind of responded through you guys at City of Houma Police Department. Fire Department, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So Terrebonne Parish has 13 different fire departments. And what's amazing within those 13 departments is as soon as someone calls for help, pretty much everyone's coming.
Wow.
When they're requested.
Wow. The cavalry showed up.
The cavalry's coming. Also, HPD did a tremendous job. with crowd control and traffic control because the smoke was inhibiting some traffic within on the twin span.
Okay, yeah, and that's just one of those things that we think about. Oh, well, the fire is here. Well, the fire itself can create lots of other problems and distractions in other areas, and that's where coming together with all these different municipalities makes a difference.
Yes.
So HPD, we appreciate that, and hats off to them. We appreciate the help that you guys provide and what y'all do through the fire department, how well trained you are. I'm really glad to know that I was able to be a part of the trainings and the specificity that you guys have, but I was also part of what happens when an alarm goes off. And it's really interesting to see how quickly you, your team, and all of these other 13 different fire departments respond immediately. There is a let's go take care of this right now. There's no questions asked. We go and take care of it.
Yes.
It's impressive
Yeah.
to be able to see. So just in closing, 40 different firefighters from most of our area fire departments responded and all reported through you guys. I love the fact that there's a chain of command and everybody kind of decides together what to do. And it sounds like there's a lot of decisions that have to be made. And they have to be made very quickly on scene at
Yes.
this very large fire.
Yeah, so it takes the number of firefighters you saw dressed out in gear. There was probably 10 chief officers on the outside helping coordinate that personnel.
And what to do. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. Thank you for taking care of this fire. Thanks for keeping us safe. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right. And that will do it for this particular segment of Bayou Time. Don't go anywhere. A lot more when we continue here on HTV.